our local nonprofits need your treasure, but they also need your time. If you have some extra to give, we know a place that will welcome you. We have details coming up next.
Well, if you've been looking for ways to serve your community and give back, we have an opportunity for you. Empath Health is in desperate need of volunteers, and so we have one of their amazing volunteers, Cindy, joining us right now, as well as Stacy, who's a vice president of volunteer engagement services there. So they're here to explain a little bit more about what they need exactly. So ladies, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So Stacey, I want to start with you because you all lost a lot of your volunteer force through the pandemic, right? How many people did you lose?
We lost approximately 30 to 50% of our volunteer base during the pandemic, unfortunately.
Wow, and how does that impact you and the people who you're serving?
So much of what we do as a full life care organization centers around that personal connection. And our volunteers were really the source of that. They're the ones going and bringing joy to people through pet visitation, just sitting at a bedside, visiting someone who might be lonely. And there were a lot of barriers to that through the pandemic. So we're trying to rebuild now that the world is a little more wide open now.
Right, and Cindy, you know all about that because you've been volunteering for quite some time through the pandemic years. Can you tell us about what you do?
I visit the patients at their homes and wherever their home may be, and just sit with the patient. I read to them, do crossword puzzles, just sit and watch TV, whatever they need. Just be present and let them know that there's a human contact there. And it's so nice for them to have a visitor that's not a clinician of any kind, not poking. I'm not there to poke or prod or ask them any questions, just there to be present with them.
And did you see, I mean, just like a greater importance through those pandemic years? I mean, you did everything that you need to make sure they were safe, right? Wearing a mask and shield and everything.
Yeah, it was a challenge. And the patients not being able to see your facial features, especially the patients that don't have a lot of verbal communication. The face is important, but we made it through, did what we could.
Well, I'm sure it's so incredible to have those long and committed volunteers, long-term volunteers like Cindy, right? What areas do you guys need the most help in when it comes to volunteerism?
Our biggest need is volunteers who are willing to go visit patients. But with that said, we have opportunities that don't involve visiting patients. So we have thrift stores throughout our whole service area, and that's a fun way to get involved and be social with other volunteers. We have administrative work. We have adult day programs where people can come in and just provide an activity for a group who comes there during the day. So there's a fit we can find for almost everyone with their availability and time, but our bread and butter is that personal contact with our patients and families, for sure.
Okay, what's your perfect volunteer? Is there a certain age? Are there some requirements that they have to meet before serving?
We have volunteers that range from, I believe, 14 years old to 99 years old.
Okay.
So if you fall in that bracket, you're a good volunteer for us. And I think it's important to know that you don't have to have a healthcare background. We provide a ton of training, and it's based on what you want to do. So obviously going into a home independently gets a good bit of training, and someone working in a resale store is a little easier to get started. And the only real requirement is a willingness to be with people who are needing your presence. We do background screening, so that's important. But that's really it, a heart that's willing to give and be involved in a mission that really serves our communities.
Okay, some of that training, can you give us some details for volunteers like Cindy who are going into the home?
Sure. So our training, first of all, focuses on an overview of the organization and all of our services, because you're truly an ambassador for Empath Health when you're volunteering. And then we teach things like boundaries, what to do in an emergency, an introduction to what you might see with a patient, and then it goes on from there.
Perfect. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on. We hope you get some more volunteers from this interview, okay? You'll have to keep us updated.
Okay.
Hey, if you'd like to learn more information about signing up to be a volunteer, you can visit empathvolunteers.org.